In the intricate web of global trade, the movement of goods and services across borders is a complex and dynamic process. At the heart of this process, currencies play a pivotal role, acting as the medium through which transactions are conducted. They are the lifeblood of international commerce, facilitating the exchange of goods and services across borders. Without a standardized medium of exchange, global trade would be cumbersome and inefficient. A delicate balance exists between the values of different currencies. This balance is influenced by a myriad of factors including economic policies, market speculation, and geopolitical events. This balance significantly impacts the flow of goods and the competitiveness of nations in the global marketplace. When a currency is strong, it can make a country's exports more expensive and imports cheaper, affecting trade balances. When countries engage in trade, they typically use their own currencies for transactions. This means that businesses and governments must constantly exchange currencies to facilitate international trade. However, the exchange rates between these currencies can fluctuate, influencing the prices of imports and exports. These fluctuations can be caused by changes in interest rates, inflation, and other economic indicators. For instance, if the value of the US dollar weakens against the euro, European goods become more expensive for American consumers. This can lead to a decrease in demand for European products in the US market. Conversely, American products become more affordable for European buyers, potentially increasing demand for US goods in Europe. This dynamic can have significant implications for businesses and economies on both sides of the Atlantic. This interplay of currency values is crucial for understanding the dynamics of international trade. Businesses must constantly monitor exchange rates to make informed decisions about pricing, sourcing, and market entry. When exchange rates fluctuate significantly, it can create both opportunities and challenges for businesses and economies worldwide. For instance, a sudden depreciation of a currency can make a country's exports more competitive, but it can also increase the cost of imported goods and services. Governments and central banks closely monitor these fluctuations. They use various tools and strategies to manage their currencies and stabilize their economies. They sometimes intervene in currency markets to stabilize their own currencies or gain a competitive edge. This can involve buying or selling currencies, adjusting interest rates, or implementing other monetary policies. Understanding the role of currencies is paramount in comprehending the complexities of global trade. It requires a deep knowledge of economic principles, market dynamics, and geopolitical factors. The balance of currency values can make or break industries, influence investment decisions, and shape the economic destinies of nations. For businesses, managing currency risk is a critical aspect of international operations. As we delve deeper into the realm of currency manipulation, we will uncover the strategies employed by some countries to influence exchange rates and the implications of such actions on the global stage. These strategies can include direct intervention in currency markets, as well as more subtle measures such as adjusting interest rates or implementing trade policies. Throughout history, currency manipulation has been a contentious issue, leading to trade disputes and economic tensions between nations. Understanding these dynamics is essential for anyone involved in international trade or finance. As we continue to explore the intricacies of currency and trade, we will examine the impact of global economic indicators, the role of international trade agreements, and the future of currency markets in an increasingly interconnected world. The future of currency and trade is evolving with advancements in technology, the rise of digital currencies, and the growing interconnectedness of global financial networks. Staying informed and adaptable is key to navigating this ever-changing landscape. Currency manipulation is a controversial practice that has sparked heated debates among economists, policymakers, and business leaders alike. This contentious issue has been at the forefront of many financial discussions, often leading to intense arguments and differing opinions on its implications. The practice has also been a significant factor in escalating trade tensions on the global stage, influencing the dynamics of international trade negotiations and economic policies. Currency manipulation refers to the deliberate actions taken by governments or central banks to artificially influence the value of their currencies in relation to others. These actions are often strategic and calculated, aimed at achieving specific economic objectives. The primary objective of currency manipulation is often to gain an unfair advantage in international trade. By manipulating their currency, countries can make their exports more competitive on the global market, thereby boosting their own export-oriented industries and economic growth. Countries may engage in currency manipulation by various means, including buying or selling large amounts of foreign currency reserves, setting fixed exchange rates, or implementing capital controls. These methods can significantly impact the value of a nation's currency, making it more favorable for trade. By keeping their currencies artificially low, countries can make their exports cheaper and more attractive to foreign buyers, thereby boosting their own export-oriented industries. This can lead to increased production, job creation, and economic growth within the manipulating country. However, this practice often comes at the expense of other nations. When one country manipulates its currency, it can create significant economic challenges for its trading partners, leading to job losses, reduced economic growth, and increased financial instability. When a country manipulates its currency to make its exports cheaper, it simultaneously makes imports more expensive for its own citizens. This can lead to higher prices for imported goods, reducing the purchasing power of consumers, and increasing the cost of living. This can lead to trade imbalances, as the manipulating country enjoys a trade surplus while its trading partners experience deficits. These imbalances can create long-term economic challenges, affecting the stability and growth of the global economy. Moreover, currency manipulation can distort global trade patterns, create unfair competition, and harm industries in other countries. This can lead to the closure of factories, loss of jobs, and economic downturns in affected regions. It can also lead to retaliatory measures, potentially sparking trade wars and destabilizing the global economy. These trade wars can result in increased tariffs, reduced trade volumes, and heightened economic uncertainty. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has condemned currency manipulation as a harmful practice that undermines the fairness and stability of the international monetary system. The IMF advocates for transparent and fair currency practices to ensure a stable and equitable global economy. In conclusion, while currency manipulation may offer short-term benefits to the manipulating country, it poses significant risks and challenges to the global economy. It is essential for nations to work together to promote fair and transparent currency practices, ensuring a stable and prosperous economic future for all. China, with its massive export-oriented economy, has been at the center of the currency manipulation debate for several years. The country's economic strategies have long been a topic of global discussion, particularly its approach to managing its currency. The country's currency, the yuan or renminbi, has been a subject of scrutiny due to its alleged undervaluation and the Chinese government's tight control over its exchange rate. This control has allowed China to influence the value of the yuan in ways that many believe give it an unfair advantage in international trade. For years, China pegged the yuan to the US dollar, keeping its value artificially low. This pegging meant that the yuan's value was directly tied to the dollar, preventing it from fluctuating freely in the global market. This policy helped fuel China's export boom, as its goods became highly competitive in global markets. By keeping the yuan undervalued, Chinese products were cheaper for foreign buyers, leading to a surge in exports and rapid economic growth. However, it also drew criticism from the United States and other trading partners, who argued that China was gaining an unfair trade advantage. These countries claimed that the undervalued yuan made it difficult for their own industries to compete, leading to trade imbalances. In recent years, China has taken steps to make its currency regime more flexible, allowing the yuan to fluctuate within a wider band against the US dollar. This move was seen as a response to international pressure, and a step towards a more market-driven exchange rate. Nonetheless, the Chinese government still retains significant control over the yuan's exchange rate, intervening in currency markets to manage its value. This intervention can take various forms, such as buying or selling foreign currencies to influence the yuan's value. Critics argue that China continues to undervalue its currency, albeit to a lesser extent than before. They believe that despite the wider trading band, the yuan is still not allowed to find its true market value. They point to China's persistent trade surplus as evidence of its ongoing currency manipulation. A trade surplus occurs when a country exports more than it imports, and critics argue that China's surplus is partly due to its currency policies. This surplus has significant implications for global trade dynamics and economic relations between China and its trading partners. The debate over China's currency policies is likely to continue, as the global economy becomes increasingly interconnected. How China manages its currency will have far-reaching effects on international trade, economic stability, and geopolitical relations. As the world watches, China's approach to its currency will remain a critical factor in the broader narrative of global economic policy and international trade. The balance between national economic strategies and fair trade practices will be a key issue for policymakers and economists worldwide. The United States, under both Democratic and Republican administrations, has long expressed concerns about China's currency practices. The U.S. government has repeatedly accused China of manipulating its currency to gain an unfair trade advantage, leading to job losses and economic harm in the United States. During his presidential campaign and subsequent presidency, Donald Trump made China's trade practices a central issue. He imposed tariffs on billions of dollars worth of Chinese goods, accusing China of stealing American jobs and intellectual property. While the Trump administration did not formally label China as a currency manipulator, it kept up the pressure on Beijing to address its trade surplus and currency practices. The Biden administration has maintained a tough stance on China, albeit with a more multilateral approach. The U.S. has engaged with allies to address China's economic practices and has also sought to strengthen domestic industries to compete more effectively with China. The issue of currency manipulation remains a point of contention in U.S.-China relations.